Hello, I'm Elaine Stevens, and I want to welcome you to Art Beat. The lovely and beautiful Sandra Halat, a full-size portrait of her done back in the 80s by one of her colleagues, Jerry Allen. Well, you're going to meet her today. She is really beloved here on the Gulf Coast and has done some fabulous and beautiful artwork. So stay tuned for Art Beat, and we'll take a short break and be back with more with Sandra Halat right after this. Welcome back to Art Beat. Our guest today is Sandra Halat, and I can think of nothing better, Sandra, than to be surrounded by your work. I feel so enchanted with these colors and the eclectic quality of your creations. It's just amazing. What variety? Where do you get your inspiration?
The inspiration comes from being curious. I've always been a curious child, and so whatever I can find that I think, ooh, a twig, whatever, and I'm going to try it and see what happens. Mm-hmm. And it's the surprise element that gets me. I did a lot of printmaking, and the best thing was when I'd pull that print and it'd be like Christmas, because you would be getting, you know, it might fail, but
you try it anyway.
Yeah.
And what I'm surprised at is I see landscapes, I see black and white abstracts, I see portraitures, which you are very famous for, but portraitures of a variety that very few artists can accomplish. Now, one of my favorites, aside from this one, is of course the male over there. It looks tribal.
Very.
That is somewhat diverse from some of the work that you've done in the past. Tell us about that one.
Well, it's a new series I've been doing, and it's the Omo tribe, which are from East Africa and Ethiopia. And these people, the way I discovered them, somebody sent me a YouTube, and the video, and I just went there and I went, oh my God, these people are the most gorgeous people I've ever seen. And all they use is natural elements, crushed stone to get the pigments, and they spot their bodies, and they have perfect sense of design.
Wow.
They have no mirrors.
They have no mirrors.
No mirrors.
You know, that would benefit a lot of us, actually, now that I think about it.
But they paint themselves kind of basically for each other. And they're two tribes. It's the Suri and the Mersai. And one of them is more akin to doing the plants and the faunas and, you know, all of that, and the flowers, and then this indigenous region to all of this, and fruits. And the other ones, the Mersai, they decorate themselves with the hunt, like horns and monkey skins and different things like that.
How enchanting. And how did you pick up on such detail? I mean, you obviously have researched it.
The photographer Hans Sylvester that was showing on the YouTube, he had lived with them for I think 6 years, basically. You know.
Can you imagine living with a tribe like that for 6 years?
Yeah, and they're basically not, the Western world hadn't gotten to them. And so they're natural, but of course, you know, all good things come to an end. And it is kind of a war area, the ivory trade and all of that.
So they're somewhat vulnerable, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
But you have captured not only their vulnerability, but their purity. in that particular portrait. Now, next to it is a landscape, which I don't see too many of your landscapes.
I'm not a landscape artist. I'm not a flower painter.
No, you're not.
No,
I mean,
no.
which is, I'm
Yeah.
sorry to say, this is why I love her work, because she doesn't do flowers, and I
No.
really love the faces that you really capture the life of that person and the portraitures that you do.
That's what I've done with these, because I would look at a picture of this particular person, and of course the background is not like that, because I'm using a lot of old paper surfaces that I had done and didn't work or something, you know, and so I'd pull them out and I'd say, dang, I think I'll paint on this, you know, and then it would come together. And
Well, it certainly did come together.
yeah, so it's kind of recycling too, because that's kind of what they do.
Well, I love the contrast between the smooth strokes of the landscape painting. I don't know if you can.
Oh, this
see
is the reason I have a landscape painting.
Yeah.
We went to Italy and Tuscany and all that, and one of my friends had this bright idea, we're going to do a landscape show.
So it was a
And I
group of
said,
artists that went there?
Ooh,
Ooh.
I don't do landscapes. That's Norma Seward. She does beautiful landscapes.
And she does.
Susie,
And we've had her on Art Beat. She's a
Yeah.
lovely artist.
Yes, and Pat Odom.
And
you
Pat
know?
Odom as well.
But I'm more akin to the figure like this over here, Artemis. That's actually a Greek goddess. That I used to do a lot of mythological, stories, because I like stories.
So this is Artemis.
Artemis, yeah, and she's of the hunt.
Oh, I know.
But then she's later
Very independent woman.
Oh, yes.
Not unlike you or I.
Gosh, who's independent? But I saw her statue in Rome, in the
Beautiful.
Vatican, with all the appendages.
Of course.
Yeah, and so that was my interpretation of her, and I did two of them. Yeah.
Two of them.
Uh-huh.
So I have to ask about this.
Oh, isn't she beautiful?
Beautiful, beautiful. I will
She's
wear
another?
this. I will wear this gladly.
She's another
absolutely
Omo.
lovely.
Yeah, another Omo.
Oh, it is another
Uh-huh.
one. But it's so different.
Oh, they all come with, if I did them all alike, or, it just wouldn't. But the next one I'm going to do is I do these little ones first, little studies, and then I look at them and think, maybe I'm going to do it like this, or I'm going to do it different, or I'm going to do a different color palette. But the little ones come out very nice as well.
Now, how long does it take to create something of the nature of the
Of that?
tribal paintings?
About 32 years.
Good answer. With that, we're going to take a short break, and we're going to come back with more wonderful Sandra Halat right after this message.
Thank you.
You're watching Art Beat. My guest is Sandra Halat. And you know what is so amazing about doing Art Beat? The private sanctuaries and the homes of artists are all so very different. But yet there is this bond between you all where you're surrounded by beauty and creativity. And here in your bedroom it certainly is evident. And we're standing in front of some different kinds of works again of yours.
Yes,
Can you tell us a little bit about it? It looks more like a collage.
It is. It has elements of collage in it. And this actually, I called it Green Mansions. And so then when I started thinking about the Omos, and I really wanted to do one, so I took it out and I put him in there. But he needs to be bigger, I think. Or maybe not. But I have all kinds of things.
I think
in
that
there.
everything that the results of your work are always perfect.
Well, I don't know about that.
Now,
And that's-
this one is unusual.
This is actually a collograph of a kind of an ancient fish. And then this is handmade pulled paper with a lot of collage elements on it as well. And
So the colors that are here, is that an acrylic?
this is, I think I used some Stag inks, yeah, and sprayed it and just did all kind of things to it.
It's really beautiful, though.
I love this piece.
It seems that you could almost turn this one the other way as well.
You could.
Yeah, no, it has
this particular one, as I was telling you earlier, we had like 4 feet of water. So this one did get some here, but I took it out and got it cleaned off before, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of my work got destroyed because I had it in a climate-controlled space.
It's very smart, especially down here in South
Mississippi. And it got
Mississippi.
8 foot of water.
Oh, it did, and the climate control.
Yeah.
Well, you know, earlier you were telling me about this wall over here.
Yes.
And there's some very sentimental pieces over this way.
Yes.
I know that you recently, you lost your sister about
in
a
2000.
year.
Yeah,
2000.
So it's going on.
Oh my,
10
it's
years.
been 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay, and I was surprised to see this relief work. That's a tribute to her, as I understand.
It is. I was cleaning out the attic upstairs, and I came across a box, and it had these things in it, and I thought, you know, I wanted to do something, and I found this letter from my brother, who's also passed away now, last year, and she was up at I think a Girl Scout camp or something, and she was one of those children that didn't like to be away from home, you know, so he was telling her it was okay. And I just, and let's see which one. No, I sold one of them. I let it go. But it had elements of Hurricane Katrina underneath. And one of her good friends, Randy, he was in the collage behind it.
What a lasting tribute to someone that you love when they're no longer physically here, but spiritually here through your work. I mean, it's pretty
and
unique.
when she was born, she had like little feet that turned in, and she had to have braces on her legs, and so that was kind of a remembrance of that.
So Sandra, I often ask this question of a lot of artists, and I don't know if a lot of you know that Sandra's been on the coast, and there were headlines many years ago. So how much of, and the headlines, of course, in reference to your husband, and some of the things that were going on in the legal system surrounding him. How much of all of your life experiences and the pain are reflected in your work? I mean, is that a way to release a lot of that?
Oh, yeah.
I would think so.
I did a whole series on the justice thing, you know, and the unfairness, and it's, you know, when you have art and you have that release, you can do whatever you want, and I did, and it was very cathartic. Those pieces got destroyed in a hurricane, and I thought,
that's almost full circle, isn't it? Almost symmetrical.
Yeah, because I was keeping them, but then I thought, you know, this is a good time to let them go.
Wow. So do you feel cleansed by that?
I did, and you know, Elaine, from every bad thing that happens to you, something good comes.
I believe
because I would never probably had gone back to school and moved to North Carolina on my own, and finish my BFA and my MFA, get a job up there teaching as well, adjunct at University of North Carolina and High Point University, and I probably would have never done that. And I did it for myself. I wasn't going to be a teacher. And
I remember talking with you right around that time, and this goes back years because our friendship has spanned many years, and I was so proud to know that there was someone like you changing their life and taking what other people would have considered broken pieces and creating this beautiful symmetry within your life again through your teaching, through your variety of creations that you've done, and through love of self, you know, which is pretty difficult to do sometimes. And so you're pretty much of a standout woman on the coast when it comes to doing that, and there's a lot to learn from that.
Yeah, and there's a lot to learn to being alone, you know, because when I went, I was totally by myself. But that was what I feared the most, to be by myself. But Joseph Campbell once said, and this was my mantra, the thing you fear the most is where you find your treasure. And it's absolutely true.
And I too love Joseph Campbell, have all of his books, all of his series.
Yeah.
Now here, this looks like...
that's a series of the Ladies of Lapland again.
Okay.
The collaged one in there.
Right.
And A lot of them are over at JC in the faculty show. I think I have 3 of them.
Which
over
Art
there.
Beat will be seeing.
Yeah.
That show as well.
But I like stories. As
Well,
I
this
said.
certainly tells something. I'm not quite sure what, but I see a lot of female energy here.
Yeah, it is. It's about the female condition. It was after a story from Fred Chappell from North Carolina, and it was called Ladies of Lapland. And he would take true people and elements of real happenings, and then weave this wonderful story around it. And so the basis, I'll make it short, but the basis of it was how men will use women freely and then discard them. So it's,
Oh, really?
yes.
What a surprise! Gee, can you imagine that?
Yeah. So, I mean, I didn't intend it to be, a woman's liber thing, but I thought,
Well, it doesn't reflect that.
No.
I see a lot of pain in this. I see a lot of loss. I see some sadness in the eyes of women, which all over the world is quite prevalent. And I do believe, though, that there also seems to be a multicultural type of thing here. I see an Asian feel to it as well.
And Bruegel's the beekeepers.
Yes.
A lot of art history in it.
So beautiful. Absolutely wonderful. Well, we're going to visit the studio where a lot of this happens. So we're going to take a short break and stay with us. Don't leave us. We're with Sandra Halat. More Art Beat right after this. Well, you're looking at this magnificent mural that actually covers an entire wall in one of the performing arts rooms at the Mary C. And Sandra, I have to say that that's one of my initiations into your work. It's so over the top as far as its size, and yet it captures the Phantom of the Opera, the ballet, the geisha, and so many aspects. How long did it take you to do that?
Gosh, I tried to forget.
Don't tell me 32 years ago.
No. It was approximately 6 weeks on and off.
Yeah, and you were physically there, obviously.
Yes.
So that wasn't something that you laid out and hung there. You were actually
had to get on
at the Mary C. O'Keeffe,
Yeah.
and you stood on a scaffold. And what are some of the things you remember about creating that? Some of the obstacles that you overcame?
First of all, it was Betty McGee that begged me to do that. And I said, Betty, I don't do murals, She said, oh, yes, you can do it. I said, no, I can't. And so anyway, we bantered back and forth, and her reasoning was, you graduated high school from here, which I did. And she said, you never got to write on the walls, well, now you can paint on them. And
Never
so
got to write on the walls in high school, so now your work is there commemorating your life there in that high school.
Yeah. So initially I had to put together pieces from different artworks like Degas' Ballerina, Monet's Water Lilies up there, the Geisha, the Phantom of the Opera, so that it covers all of the
Well, how did you know
arts.
what parts of that you wanted where and what you wanted to include in the first place?
Well, I didn't. I did a little sketch first.
Okay.
And I looked at it, studied it, did a I don't know, it's about 32 by 24 kind of on a canvas to see how it would work out.
Now, I'm not sure that the audience can actually pick up on the dimensions of this mural, so can you tell us about the size of it?
The size is, when I found out, I thought, oh my goodness. It's 9 feet vertically and 22 feet horizontally, and that's a lot of space.
That's a lot of space and a lot of time for one hand to create that. Now, Michelangelo used other people to help him.
Yes, he did. Good old Michelangelo.
But you didn't.
No.
You were solo in that.
No, I was solo, and Betty came in to help me move around, and when I was trying, because I did the sketch so that I could blow it up, and then I would get the...
Well, it truly is magnificent, and if you're interested in seeing that, all you have to do is go to 1600 Government Street in Ocean Springs and go to the second floor. I think it's the trainer room, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
it's the
it is.
Performing Arts. And also there's some prints of it available
there
at the
are.
Mary C, a smaller version, since you can't put 9 by 22 in your home.
That's right.
But
You
you
buy
can
the
certainly
little
buy one of the
ones,
prints.
and it helps the Mary C.
And it helps the Mary C, obviously. Well, we're in the studio of Sandra Halat, where the creations of her life come forth. And it's you know what? It's a lot neater than some of the studios I've seen.
She didn't see it 2 days ago.
Oh, you cleaned it up for Art.
I cleaned it up so y'all could get in.
Well, you know, I'm fascinated because we're standing in front of something that is very similar to Walter Anderson.
It was done for the Walter Anderson invitation that you were to pick a work of Anderson's and be inspired by it. So I was always inspired by the little room because
Love that room.
I love
so
it.
Beautiful.
Yes. And Leif Anderson and I have a long history together in Mary, and so I decided that's what I wanted to do, and so I did her. And
so for those who do not know, we are looking at Father Mississippi.
Yes, we are.
And some of the natural things that Walter Anderson actually depicted on Horn Island.
And some of the things I just picked out, like the zinnia that's on the top of the, you know, and just put them in there.
That's beautiful. Now, is this a completed ballerina?
No, I'm still kind of deciding whether it is or not. I think she needs some more work.
I when I first saw it, I sensed a feeling of incompletion, but then now as I'm closer to it, I feel very good about the way it is.
I know, I haven't really tackled that area. I think I'm going to work on this with a little bit more color or something up there. And but we'll see. You know, work for art's never finished.
Well, and the one over to the right, it has a Degas kind of feel.
Yeah, that
to
one
it.
does have a Degas feeling. She's the one that I saw like 25 years ago.
Right.
The little statue of her, and was taken and had a picture, an 8x10 taken of her. And I carried that around. Never got to do it till I started about 5 years ago. And
I love it. I love the size of it.
Thank you. I think her head, I need to do a little bit more with her head. It's going back, but it needs to be a little larger.
So now, does that happen very often where you start something and then you go back and, I mean, I'm a writer, so that's my art form, so I will go back and look at a story and I'm totally relieved when it's done.
Oh, no.
But is it truly ever complete?
No.
Because there's always a revision or two that you need to make.
You only quit on it. It's never finished.
Yeah.
Because I can look at a work 5 years from now and think, why didn't I do that? You
What
know?
was I thinking? Right.
What was I thinking? I should go do this. And a lot of times I'll take them down and do it, you know, to satisfy myself.
So now, your training in the art world is somewhat fascinating. I was reading your bio, and you're really, overall, you're pretty much self-taught.
Well, no, not, well, I was before I went back to get my back. Yeah.
Right.
I did it all backwards. I started painting before I could really draw well. And that was the main reason I went back, was to get that foundation, because as I'm teaching at Jeff Davis, I teach that you really need that foundation.
That's what you tell the students.
Absolutely.
Well, it seems also that you're a tremendous researcher, and we were talking earlier about what you were doing. Now tell me, if you wouldn't mind holding the book, and I'm going to hold the work.
Okay. Yeah.
But look at this. Look at the likeness here of what Sandra has created.
Yeah, this one's not quite finished. I'm thinking about something here, and I need to add this color a little lighter. She's still got to be tweaked.
Now this is the same tribe that you had referred to, and so these are so colorful.
Yeah, and all of this paint and everything is just natural pigments coming from their surroundings, as is the leaves.
The leaves. Well, I mean, if Vogue picks up on this, it may be the latest fashion hit for New York next year. What do you think?
Gotta go naked.
I don't know. I mean, it could be. Well, with your teachings with the students right now, what are you seeing that young people are coming up with as far as some of their artistic ideas? Do you feel that it's any different than how you began?
Well, I'm going to be honest here. Okay. Students today are so used to having everything click, 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 click instantly.
Automated and technological.
Yeah, and drawing is not that way. Painting is not that way.
No, not at all.
You have to spend time with it. You can't just, man, I go in there today and I'm an artist, you know. No. Some of them come with a little bit more gifts than others, but anybody can learn to draw, paint. It's like any course.
It takes a tremendous amount of patience and time.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But I love it. I love it because I try to instill in them not to be afraid of failure. Because if you're afraid of failure, you'll never go anywhere.
Well, that's so very true. You have to be willing
Yeah.
to go out there and take a risk with your art form, whether it be writing or
Yes,
television or
television.
painting or dance or anything like that, and take that chance.
Yeah.
You know,
Because, you know, your mistakes are what you learn from.
absolutely. Whether it be in life or on the
Yeah.
canvas.
Oh, absolutely. You know, so you go and, in fact, a lot of things that happen in my work are accidents, happy accidents. And I always call it a gift from the gods, because then I can't do it again. Because
Well, you
it just
truly are
happens.
inspirational. What's next in store for you as far as subject matter? I mean, I'm always curious to see what you're going to come up with.
You never know.
No, we don't. But
I
I'm
don't
telling
know
you,
either.
Art Beat will be here to cover it, whatever it is.
I don't know what it's going to be, but, you know.
So what lasting bit of advice would you give budding artists out there if they were willing to pursue the work as intensely as you do? What's the philosophy or credo that you live by when you're creating?
It's one word.
Okay.
Passion. You have to have passion. I don't care if you're digging a ditch. If you have that passion for whatever you do, you're going to do it well. If it's not there, don't do it.
Well, and that's why we do Art Beat. Honestly, it's the passion for the arts that we have here in South Mississippi, and it's a way to showcase the beautiful work of so many talented South Mississippians. We do hope you'll stay with us and continue to watch Art Beat in the weeks ahead. We have many surprises in store for you in the fall season. And if you have any ideas about who you'd like to see here, just email us through www.wkfk.com and we'll be sure and take note. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.